Hope everyone, you too, Hannah. See, well, Hannah really missed me. She's like so happy right now. I never saw someone so happy to be in class on a Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Great to see everybody. Welcome to Mod 2. Hope everybody had a restful weekend. We have quite a few things to cover today as we get an introduction into project management. Before we do, just a couple quick reminders. First one is please try to be on camera. Right now I see about 8 of you on camera, but that means there's 18 of you not on camera. So please be on camera if you can. And yeah, this is why you should be on camera. See, look at Omna, it has all the fun features. I have no idea how you do that, Omna, by the way. But we'll just roll with it.
It's just like the way you do virtual backgrounds. It's right next to it, video filters.
Okay, I don't even know why I asked, because not everybody's looking at video filters. So I'll give you 1 minute. Look for a video, look at your video filter if you want to play with it. And I'm going to go ahead and take a photo for attendance. So I'll give you 30 seconds to figure that out if you want to go play with that on your Zoom. Why you can tell everybody's getting in the groove of getting back into class. We're missing a lot of people. Janice Williams cannot find it. Poor Samaja, she had to help out some people today and had to change her name to her, I think your aunt. Is that what you said, Samaja? Yeah. So
yes, I had to help my aunt who's not computer savvy, and it was a whole bunch of old ladies. They did not know how to use Zoom. So
oh my gosh, I hope you record that because we'd all be interested in watching that. I'll cancel class, but we'll just all watch the video.
no, it actually didn't happen because no one knew how to use Zoom. They didn't have it downloaded, so it was like a headache.
Yep. I totally get it. My daughter, her first birthday is tomorrow. So tonight we're having a Zoom birthday party with all of her relatives. And yes, my parents are like, they're just boomers. They don't know how to use technology. They just don't. They're just at that age.
Yeah, so you understand. My aunt
totally get it. My mom's like, is it FaceTime? I'm like, no, Mom, it's not FaceTime.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look at Hannah Holmes. Hannah Holmes is our assistant instructor today. Looking very good. So Hannah, why don't we go ahead and get started? Can you unmute yourself and 3 questions. Tell us a bit about yourself. Why did you join Year Up? And what is something interesting about you? Thanks, Ashley. Ross, and you're on mute, Hannah.
Well, first, can someone tell me how to take the filter off now? I think I'm done.
Amna, we need tech support.
You just gotta click on none. Like, you know where you pick the different filters?
Oh.
On the top left, it's gonna be none.
Got it, thanks.
There we go.
Morning, everyone. What do I start with? My name, where I'm from,
yep.
And a fun fact?
Where you're from, why you joined Year Up, and something interesting, a fun fact. Yep.
I'm from Harlem, and I decided to join Year Up because I was paying off student loans, and it was really difficult for me to get back into school and pay off student loans and work at the same time and still try to live my life. So I was looking for a program for IT or computers, but one that wasn't online. And Year Up was like a go-to that everyone like recommended. And then it just so happened that the world worked the way it did, and I ended up online anyways. So now here we are, and I'm just like sucking it up. It's something to get used to. And one fun fact about me is that for high school, I went to boarding school in Massachusetts.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. Okay. Did you enjoy that experience?
It was actually one of the best, most diverse, like coolest experiences ever. You just realize the different public school systems where you are. And I just feel like I think Massachusetts, the school that I went to school in Wellesley. It was like one of the best public school systems in the United States. Like, top notch, just ask me.
That is so cool. So like you lived there, like you were like lived on a dorm, you ate a cafeteria. Wow.
Yeah, so Wellesley College, I don't know if you guys know that college. Hillary Clinton is an alumni there.
Okay.
But I stayed near that campus with 5 other girls.
Gotcha. Wow, and how old were you when you went up there from Harlem to Mass?
I started freshman year, 14 years old.
Oh my gosh, you were
young.
It
was a big adjustment, but it's a cool program. I feel like if you guys have siblings and you want them to really get into like other programs and be more diverse and like just have a better future, you guys should look up the Better Chance program. It's a really good program.
Yeah, awesome, Hannah. Thank you so much. Better Chance program. Yeah, if you have a sibling or a niece or a nephew, that could be a really cool opportunity. Thanks for sharing. All right, Hannah, before you go off mute, you're not off the hook yet. What is a question that you want to ask the group?
Oh, wow. Wow, I can't really ever get to this part.
I mean, literally, some of the questions have been, "What's your favorite potato chip?" and "What superpower could you have?" So don't think about it too hard. Don't overthink it.
Oh, this is a good one. I think this is a good one because a lot of people argue. What's the best cereal?
Oh, excellent, Hannah. I love it. So why people populate the chat box of their favorite cereal? Hannah, what's your go-to cereal?
It's definitely I got two, but number one is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
Offer it. And then Frosted Flakes, number two.
Yep.
Cocoa Puffs. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, Cocoa. I haven't had those in years. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Hannah. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my go-to. It's like, it's so good. It's like addicting. Cocoa Puffs, cinnamon.
And they have like everything for it. They have like Pop Tarts for it, toaster strudels.
Wow,
it's a vibe. It's a wave.
I had no idea that there was so much variety. Wow, that's pretty good. I'm corny, but I love Honey O's. Honey Bunches of Oats with strawberries, Andre, are also very good.
That's not corny. That's lovely, actually.
It's very good. Wow, man, this is making me very hungry for cereal. Lucky Charms, because Waffle Crisp is discontinued.
I might question my mood about the Raisin Bran. I've actually never heard of that being anyone's favorite cereal, but I don't judge.
Hey, it's a tasty cereal.
It's still tasty.
Mm-hmm. Very filling. The thing about it is, mom mood's thinking ahead. You eat Raisin Bran for breakfast, like you're gonna stay full for a long time. If you eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's like by 9 a.m. you're starving.
Not if you eat 2 or 3 bowls.
Good point. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Thanks, Hannah, for the question, and thank you all for your answers. So just once again, quick reminder: the only person that is going to be able to interrupt me today is Hannah. So you have a question, raise your hand, put in the chat box, and Hannah can say, "Hey, Eric, so and so has a question," and we can address you. So what I want to actually do for the first part of today's class is I actually want to plus Delta Intro to Computers. So all of you are aware, this is my first mod ever teaching. There's a lot of things that I learned, as well as hopefully things that you learned as well. And I just want to hear kind of what were some of the things that you thought this was really good. You should keep doing this for the next classes that come in the future. And what were some things that you were like, no, I would change this, or I would pivot this because this could be better if you do it this way. So Hannah, can you see my screen? You're on mute, Hannah.
I can see it.
Excellent, Hannah. So if you don't mind, everybody, you can go ahead and start raising your hand. Hannah will keep an eye on the participant toolbox and call on you sort of in order of how you raise your hand. So once again, some quick reminders for plus deltas. Deltas are not negative. It's not like, I don't want to say this because I don't want to hurt Eric's feelings. I promise, like, you're not going to hurt my feelings. It's just a growth area because I want to make this class, Intro to Computers, the best it can be for future classes as well. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. And so I want to hear feedback on both ends. And I have a few as well that I'll put in towards the end. And then we'll go ahead and get started. So Hannah, I see we have a couple of hands raised.
Yes, we're gonna start with David Torres.
Okay, David.
Thanks, Hannah. Good morning, everybody. So my plus for Intro to Computers was being able to have 2 options for a final exam.
Yeah, did you like that, David?
Yes,
okay.
Especially since it was 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was really quick. Every single person that took it was like, wait, I'm done? I'm like, yeah, you're done. So cool. All right. Thanks, David. Do you have a Delta or is it just that for now?
Just that.
Okay. All right, Hannah, who's next?
Jesus.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I have a
Jesus.
plus.
Mm-hmm.
The plus would be like having assistant instructors positions. Basically, this allows you to learn how to control and be able to, control a large audience. So.
Yeah. Thanks, Jesus. We definitely have a large audience here. That's for sure.
Andre?
I have a plus. I guess it's like the way that you teach. It's like reassuring and the pace that you go at which everybody could actually understand the content and material of what you assign us.
Mhm, mhm. Thanks, Andre.
Samaje.
Thanks, Hannah. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. The plus I would say about this class is how you have more than one resource for us to learn. So you have a video on YouTube, you have resources on Schoology, you have a PowerPoint, you record the class just in case we're like confused. We don't have to like go to you on email. We could just look at the resources first.
Yep.
But if we're still confused, we could always email you. So that's what I like about your class.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Samaje.
Anyone else? If you guys don't mind, can you put your hands down? Oh, I think Rahul.
Hey, good morning, guys. I guess a plus would be I really like how often we would screen share. It's really helpful seeing other screens and how other people would do things. And a lot of the times it opened eyes for me. I don't know how much it will be prevalent going into project management, but it's a good feature for sure. So I like our use of it.
Amador. Oh, did I skip my mood? I skipped my mood. Sorry.
Okay, one plus I have is how you're willing to use Office 365 in order to show people who are using that how to do it in that platform. Just you're willing to meet us halfway, so to speak. So that's a plus I have.
Thanks, Mahmood.
Amador.
One plus that I have is that you gave us time to practice the final exam.
David, can I like skip you and go to Jaleesa and come back?
That's fine.
Jaleesa.
Morning, everyone. A plus that I have is kind of going back to what Raul said earlier. Whenever we have breakout rooms, whenever we come back as a class, I really enjoy how we review what we did in the breakout room. That way, everyone is on the same page with what we had to practice. That makes sense, and I really enjoy that.
Awesome. Thank you.
You can go now, David.
Thanks, Anna. So another plus I have is you give us an opportunity to actually write on the board when you screen share.
Mhm.
So if anybody has trouble with a problem, let's say on Excel, you actually guide them along with an operations manager to help them solve the problem.
Mhm.
And Ashley Ross.
Thanks, Hannah. A plus that I have is that I liked how we recapped what we learned yesterday every morning.
Pablo.
Since no one has said delta, I have a delta. So my delta is that we didn't spend that much time on Google Sites.
Thanks, Pablo. Also, if you already spoke, you can put your hand down unless you have another one. Just make life easier for Hannah.
Thanks.
Are there any more hands?
No, but I'm gonna add one, and I'm gonna go off of what Pablo said. I feel like because you teach everything so well, the delta is that we don't have enough time because because you teach so well, we want to perfect it. Like we want to learn more,
Right.
and we don't have enough time to fit it all into.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Hannah. Thank you. Do you have another other comment, Pablo, or is that the only one for you?
And that I don't really like Excel.
Pablo doesn't like Excel. I'm gonna put that right there. Well, you're gonna have a whole...
Jaleesa has one more.
All right, let's hear it, Jaleesa.
Um, I agree with Pablo, but a delta is how fast this class goes. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I feel like this class just goes by really, and I really enjoy it. So I think that's why. But I don't know.
Is that a plus or a delta? The class goes fast.
I don't know.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah, it's a both. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, that definitely is my style. I'm one of those people that's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So I appreciate you sharing that. It looks like Manny, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so I thought I was the only one that didn't like Excel, which is why I didn't say anything. But I have a plus. So the plus is just like they were saying, like they have multiple resources.
Yep.
And I like how you got like the time to explain how does PowerPoint and Microsoft work. So
Great. And I'm gonna put myself, I'm gonna write one for me. I think one plus that I'm really proud of with this group is I feel like there was a lot of solid teamwork. Like I found that people seem to work together really well, which I think is a really important skill. I don't think I know is an important skill to have in the working world. When you go out to your internship in your career, you're gonna have to learn how to work with people, and some of those people are gonna be different than you. They're gonna think differently than you. They're gonna have different vantage points than you are, and learning to collaborate and be successful on a team is so critical to your success. So I'm really happy that we got a lot of practice in that area. I know some of you got really annoyed, like, oh God, another breakout, another group project, another fill in the blank. But one of the things, I'm sure you noticed this, that I was very intentional about, is that I actually never had like a group project that was grade bearing, other than the final exam, which you could have opted in for. That's one of the things I was very intentional about, is because I don't want anybody in this class to feel like, oh my gosh, like this big part of my grades relying on these 4 other people, doing their job. So other than the final exam, which you could have chosen to do or not do, every other breakout was more to build your skills than to earn a grade. And then the one thing I'm going to add for a delta is, believe it or not, there was like, I don't know the exact number, I don't have it in front of me, but probably like 12 or 13 people in this class who actually got 100% in the class. So one of the things that I would like to do in like classes going future is actually have stretch assignments for those who are proficient. So what I mean by that is like these would be optional, but for those who are like really are advanced at PowerPoint or Word or Excel or whatever, be like, hey, you're really good at this. Like you knocked out this deliverable, no problem. Would you like to earn extra credit and try this to really just sharpen your skills and challenge yourself a little bit? So those were some of the my one plus, my one delta from this past, from mod 1. Because I was like, wow, I can't believe like a third of the class like just crushed it, got 100% on everything. So nice job to those of you who did that. I see a couple more hands. Hannah, do you want to call them out?
Yeah, I'm not sure who had the hand up, or if David said, can he add one more delta recently?
All right, we'll go on the list.
Cool. So Ashley?
I have a plus. Eric, I really like your personality. It makes it a fun class that I look forward to logging into.
Thank you. That's really kind.
Humor makes it, like it lightens the mood a lot.
That's really nice of you to say. Thanks.
Majida?
I have a plus and a delta, and like an overall comment was like, I really enjoyed the class overall, just like all these pluses. Like I enjoyed every single one of them, and I couldn't agree more. And I really found it easy for you to like the way you like had us present how each topic was introduced. I really like how you did it. You would first ask us what it was, or like if we have any prior knowledge to it, then you would give us a whole lesson on it, and then like have us practice it, and then our deliverables would be like based off of that. So it wouldn't be something that's like being completely thrown into something brand new, but like it was reflected on that, and it like really helped us all learn things in a proficient way. For a delta, I do have is that I think like maybe have the deliverables, like as many as deliverables as you can have prior to class, and maybe like have them in the description, have them very detailed, or like have an example of something that you would like. So if there's anybody who like for a busy schedule, or maybe just in general wants to get their things done before like they're able to without having to like wait until that day or the day previous to it.
Yeah, that's really helpful feedback. Thanks, Majida. Who's next, Hannah?
You have David.
Thanks, Hannah. So one delta I would say is so we always have like a lot of the same people participating. Yeah, it'd be good if new people actually share out, because I'm sure everybody has great ideas that they want to share, and like yeah, just don't be shy, guys. So
yeah, great point, David, and I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more.
I checked that. Andre, I think you're the last hand.
Okay. So I have a plus and a delta.
Okay.
I really appreciate how quick you grade all the assignments that you assigned to us. My delta would have to be if you didn't get like a good score, I'd appreciate it if like you give back feedback on what you missed out or where we lost points on in like a more detailed structure.
All right, great. Are there any more hands, or are these hands from earlier? If you already had your question, had your plus delta, you can put your hand down. If you have another comment, keep it up, and Hannah will call on you. All right.
We're all done.
We're all done. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. Thank you so much for sharing that. Really do appreciate all of you, and being a part of Intro to Computers, and looking forward to taking this feedback and implementing it for the next class, class 30, when I start teaching that next year in March, which is crazy because it seems like in some ways it's so far away, but in some ways it's so close. You all will be in your internship by then, which is pretty wild. So weird question, but do you guys think that time goes faster or slower in quarantine? Give me a red X if you're like it goes slower, green check if you're like it goes faster. I was having this conversation with someone the other day. I don't know what you guys think. Oh, see, it's like a mixed bag, because some people, I agree. Some people are like, man, it goes so much slower, which I just, my camp, I'm like, it goes a lot slower, but some people are saying, no, it goes faster in quarantine. All right, mixed bag all around. Amna, do you have a question or a comment?
I had a comment about your question of whether it goes slower or faster.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like it depends on what you're doing. That
Right.
like it feels like it's so slow. Like if you're doing nothing and you have like nothing to do at home, it feels like it's going by so slow and every day is the same. But like if you're actually like looking forward to something, like starting something new or like starting a new project, then I feel like it flies by like so fast.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it for sure. What do you have to share, Hannah?
I was saying like my mom like said something really funny. Like if you're doing what you're supposed to do, which is like staying indoors and staying 6 feet away from people and things of that sort, it goes really, really slow. But when you're like doing other things, you're not supposed to be doing, and barely washing your hands and hand sanitizer, it goes really fast.
Interesting. I wonder what the psychology is behind that. Yeah, it's really crazy. So, all right, project management. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So, thank you for everybody who did the deliverable that was due last night, which was a discussion board on 10 reasons to learn project management. So, Hannah, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. This is lesson number 1. What is project management and why should I care? So I know it's Tuesday morning. I hope you got your coffee and your tea and your water and you did your stretches, because we're actually gonna do an opening activity. I'm gonna share it on here. I'm gonna answer any questions you have, and I'm gonna give you 10 minutes by yourself to figure it out. All right, I'm gonna read it to you. You just got news. Your long lost cousin living in New Zealand passed away. She loves the direction that your life is heading, and in her will, she left you a sizable inheritance. Only problem is you have to go to Wellington, New Zealand to claim it. There are no flights into New Zealand because of COVID-19. You have 30 days to claim it before it goes to someone else, and you can only spend $10,000 getting there. What is your game plan? Any questions on the 10-minute breakout that you have to figure out? You can raise your hand, I can answer it, and then we're gonna go ahead and see who can crack the code. I was able to do this in like 4 minutes yesterday, so you can handle it.
Are we like really like? Are we going into detail, looking up flights and stuff like that?
You're doing all of it. Like you're imagining you just got this call from her attorney in New Zealand. Hey, you need to get out here in 30 days. And you're like, and there's no flights into New Zealand. You have to find another way to get here. And then you look at your credit card, and you only have a $10,000 limit on your credit card that you can spend. So you have. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. You can go off camera. You can go figure it out, and let's see who can do it. So I'll see you all at 9:35. All right, folks, we got 2 more minutes. All right, everybody, we're down to our last 15 seconds. All right, it is time. Let's see who's going to claim our inheritance and who's going to not. So in the chat box, give me a green check mark if you figured out a way to get to Wellington, New Zealand on budget and on time. And give me a red X if you can figure it out. All right. So I see Chelsea, you have a green check. So Chelsea, want to explain to us how you're going to get there given the time and budget constraints you have?
I'm actually not going because there's a way you can get the money without going.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, since your long lost cousin named you as the beneficiary and they're leaving all the money to you, you can do either a bank account inheritance or IRA inheritance. And all you have to do is make sure you submit the proper paperwork via fax or whatever, and you can get that money just like that. You don't have to go there. You just have to pay the taxes on it when it comes to stateside. But in New Zealand, they don't have that. They don't have inheritance tax, so that's fine. So you just using that $10,000 to basically cover any documentation expenses and transferring the money itself.
Okay, good answer. Thank you. Anybody actually go to New Zealand to claim the money? Moses, you went. How did you do it?
So see, I thought about what Chelsea said too, which is funny, but I didn't want to pay the taxes. So what I did was I just looked at the next flight out to Australia. Next flight out to Australia. That was about what, $3,000?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went for $4,000 because I wanted the first class seat. And then there is a 14-day cruise that stops in New Zealand for a couple of days. I looked that up as well, and the tickets for that could about run you about 500, 600 US dollars. So yeah, that's how I would go about it.
There you go. Excellent, Moses. Amna, did you take a different path?
No, I kind of took the same path. I went to Sydney, Australia, and then took a boat to New Zealand.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Andre?
So this took me a minute. Okay, so boom, I decided to look up what's the next flight to Hawaii actually.
Okay.
So I found a flight for like about $600. It takes about 13 hours to get there.
Okay.
I hop on that flight. Then I find a give or take about a 20-day cruise to New Zealand, because apparently it's kind of hard finding flights and boat rides to New Zealand. But I found one, it ran me about between 700 to 2,500.
Okay. But you ended up there within 30 days in Wellington, New Zealand to get your money. All right, great. I see Pablo and then Jaleesa, and then we'll keep moving forward. Pablo?
So what I did that no one else is talking about is I looked up the restrictions, because you can't just get into New Zealand. You have to ask for permission to go in. So it says you have to request And if you put in a request, it could take from 2 business days to 2 weeks. So, you know, that's still enough time. And then you could just get a flight out from here, or you can like, or how everybody else is doing it. They're going around other places, but I personally would just get a flight from here to New Zealand. I mean, obviously it's not direct, but it still will get you there.
Yep.
In time.
Yes. Yeah, but the only thing is, Pablo, part of the assignment was there are no flights into New Zealand, so
Oh,
you
wait,
can't.
my
Yeah,
bad.
you can't fly directly into the country. That's why people are taking boats. And
Boat,
someone
yeah.
someone said they're going to swim, which hope you're a good swimmer because that's a long trek.
I'll buy a jet ski.
There you go, jet ski from Australia to New Zealand. That'd be a beautiful ride. Just don't get lost. Jalissa.
Never mind.
Never mind. So here's what I did. First of all, to Pablo's point, I did not look up like the laws of entering the country, so I missed that part. And to Chelsea's point, she just found a total workaround. But I went the way that was this. I found a flight on November 13th, 55 hours, JFK to Sydney via Qatar Airways, $2,635. Make for a long 2.5 days, but get me there. And then I probably would be on the cruise ship with Moses. You can go on a Carnival cruise from Sydney, Australia to Wellington, New Zealand. And I would arrive, collect my inheritance, and post a selfie on the beach, waving my bills because I would be a rich person. And the total cost would only be $3,500. You factor in Ubers and foods and all that kind of stuff. And my timeline is 24 days. So not only did I make it there, but I made it there under budget and with 6 days to spare. So you guys ready to hear something very interesting? I want to see all your reactions. What you just did by this exercise was a form of project management because you had a goal, you had a timeline, you had a budget, you had things that you had to keep within a frame of reference. Did all of those sort of things you had to think about in project management. So typically you do it with a team, but we just did this one by ourselves today. But you just did project management, which is pretty amazing. Some of you are thinking like, hey, I don't know what project management is. I don't know how it works, but you just did it. So let's go ahead and talk about kind of what it is. Before we do though, actually, let's go backwards. For those of you who read up on project management, did the discussion board, can you like raise your hand and kind of explain in 30 seconds or 15 seconds, like what is project management anyways? Like what does it mean? What does it stand for? I want to hear what your thoughts are before I share, what project management is from the book. So Andre, I see your hand.
So what I got from project management is a method of starting a plan, roles, and using information that's being circulated and integrated to help reach your goal with a final product or product.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And love that. Majida?
So like before I like continue on, like I just want to say previously I had an internship where we did this. Like when I was like looking at one of your deliverables, it said agile versus waterfall. I got so excited. So through research, like after researching, I also found like there are 2 methodologies that like most of the companies that go through, and which is again waterfall and agile. So one of them is just that it takes you through a step-by-step process, and it's like trial and error. But the other methodology is where you just have a set goal from the very beginning, and you give it a specific time. You have to invest your money from the very beginning. So it could be very risky not having the correct product.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Majida. We'll talk about waterfall versus agile later on this week. So thanks for bringing that up. And Rahul?
From the project management field, I also got that it's kind of like a creative problem solving field. You're presented with a problem and you're given a deadline, as you said, and you have to figure out creative ways to problem solve it. Like for example, for this problem, I thought outside the box as everybody else did too with the flights and stuff, but I didn't think of the cruise. I was looking at the laws and I was like, even if I take these flights to other countries, I can't get in the country with a cruise because of the visa situation. So I was stuck there. So yeah, but finding, going outside the box and, basically starting with that Google search. What can I do to figure out this problem?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you everybody for your feedback. Let me go ahead and put my screen back up. So, Hannah, can you see that okay?
Yes, I can.
Thanks, Hannah. So there you go. Congratulations. You just did project management just by solving that problem. And project management, in short, is broken up into 5 what we call life cycles. The first one is initiation. Every project needs to start off by saying like what needs to happen, like what needs to get done. So for this particular problem, it was I need to get to New Zealand and claim my inheritance. So there you are, you're living your life, you're going to Europe, you're working your job, you're trying to exercise and stay healthy, and suddenly you get this phone call. Your cousin, your long lost cousin you haven't spoken to in a while, left you this large sum of money, and you have to claim it within 30 days. So that's your initiation. The second phase is what's called planning. We talked about this already. This is how I'll get there. This is how much it's going to cost. This is how long it's going to take. All of this happens as well in project management, like how long is something going to take. The third thing, most important thing, execution. Okay, I know the flight I'm going to get on. I know the cruise ship I'm going to get on. I got my visa in order, my passport in order. I got permission to get into the country. Now I'm going to go do it. This is the most important step in the whole entire process. So a lot of people, that we do a lot of initiation, a lot of ideas. Maybe we do some planning, but we never get to this step. Step 3, execution. Now it's actually time to get the job done. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of projects in my life that never made to step 3. I thought of it. Maybe I made some plans, but I never actually executed. I see some of you laughing, so I guess I'm not the only person that has that problem. Next one is monitoring. Am I on track? Like, are my flights working out? Am I staying under budget? Is my timeline good? Am I going to make it there within 30 days? How I make sure I get to my end goal? I'm not going to go over budget. I'm not going to go over time. And then the closing, there you go. I am rich in New Zealand, laying in a hammock, watching the sunset. That looks very relaxing, doesn't it? Just enjoying my new life. Okay. That's the life cycle of a project. So a few things that I want to really hit on. What project management is not. So part of your working life when you get into your intern. Oh yeah, Rahul, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, Eric. What was step 4 again?
Of course, no problem. Monitoring. So what that means is like making sure that you're staying on track. So you're making sure you're staying under budget. You're making sure that you get there on time. You're making sure everything is good. So you execute, you get started on the project. Monitoring is making sure regularly you're staying aligned with your goals. So if you have a project that is going to take 1 month and it's day 28 and you're like, oh shoot, we still have 2 more weeks of work. Like that's not good. You never want to get there as a project manager. You want to make sure you stay ahead of the curve and finish not only on time but ideally early, and not only in budget but ideally under budget, like in a perfect world. Last thing, of course, nice picture. Looks relaxing on this beautiful, gray day in New York City. So like I said, project management is not. So in your career, in your internship, you're going to have sort of 2 types of tasks that you're going to be assigned to do. Some of them are going to be what are called regular routine tasks. So take a moment and just think about like what is a regular or routine task that you might do in your internship or your job. You can raise your hand as you're thinking about it. Like I'll share one of mine. Like one of my regular and routine tasks in my job is that every day I teach 2 classes. Like that's what I do, Monday through Thursday, every day. It's a regular routine part of my day. It's something that I do, all the time. It's part of my my cadence in my work life. Another thing that I do almost every day is grading. That's part of my day from 3 o'clock, actually like 2:30 to 3 o'clock. I block off those 30 minutes. I'm going to grade the deliverables from the night before. Checking email, something I do regularly. Does anyone else have any ideas? Like, what do you think is a regular task? And even if you can't think of anything from a future job, maybe your current job, like what is something that you do on like regularly, weekly, daily? You can raise your hand if you can think of one. So Hannah, you can go ahead and start calling on people.
Muhammad had his hand up first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like in some cases you do like a weekly overall check like how you did overall in the week or the day. That might be one.
Yes, excellent. That's a very good point. Regular check-ins. So some places you work, they're gonna have daily check-ins. Some places are gonna have weekly check-ins, but that's a regular part of your working day. Excellent. Thank you, Mohammed.
We're gonna move on to Jesus.
Yes, I would say checking your email daily.
Yes, absolutely, Jesus. You're 100% right. Checking your email on a regular basis. That is a task that you're gonna do all the time, more than you probably want to.
Amador.
Taking phone calls.
Excellent, Amador. Perfect. Taking phone calls, answering people when they reach out, inbound requests. That's gonna be a regular part of your day. Yes.
David Torres.
I would say logging into Zoom for class.
Yep. That's a regular part of your day. You do it almost every single day. You log into Zoom for classes, for LC here in Europe. Something that you do all the time. Yep.
We have one more from Pablo.
Awesome.
Slide.
I say like if you're going into like an office or something, they're probably gonna check your temperature because of what's going on right now.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's gonna be a regular routine task for sure. Good answer. And
sorry, and Karina.
And meetings, we have meetings very frequently.
Yeah, excellent, Karina. Yeah, you're gonna have meetings regularly. That's gonna be a normal part of your cadence. Anybody else, Hannah?
Yes, Rahul and then Usman.
I was just gonna say I'm reviewing your notes from all your daily tasks.
Excellent. Yeah, looking at your notes from your day. Also, please, if you already raised your hand, you can lower your hand, and you already said your comment.
Usman, you can go.
You guys already said what I was gonna say.
No problem. Thanks, Usman. And I see Pablo's hand. Are you another comment, or is that from earlier?
No, sorry from earlier.
Okay, no problem. Great answers. So this is the thing. So part of your job, a big part of your job is just going to be things that you just do every single day, every single week. There are things in my job that I, do every day. Like that was already mentioned. You check your email, you teach your class, you go to meetings, you have one-on-ones with your manager, you grade, like whatever it is. Like I do those things every day. A project is different than that. All right. So project is these things. I'm not going to read it because everyone in this class knows how to read. But one of the things I really want to emphasize is point number 2. So that a project is temporary in nature. So as opposed to, checking email, going to class, or doing meetings, like those are ongoing. A project has a clear start date and a clear end date. All right. So I'm going to share with you an example of a project that that I did here at Year Up in the last month or so. How many of you know Keith Roseborough? He and I collaborate together. He works for a different department than I do. I work on the academic team. He works on corporate engagement. And both Keith and I are very good at Zoom, like the functionalities and how to use it well and how to, have good presence digitally. And it was requested by someone on our team, like you two should give a workshop for all of our staff on how to use Zoom well. So Keith and I actually collaborated. We had 3 or 4 meetings. We built a whole PowerPoint deck and we gave this presentation, I think two or 3 Tuesdays ago, to our staff on how to use Zoom well. And that was an example of a project, right? It had a clear start date when we began preparing, at a clear end date when we gave the presentation, and now it's over. It was a temporary in nature. So that's an example of a project. It's not something that's long term. It's something that's short term. That's a very simple project. Some projects you'll be doing in your career are longer. They're multi-year even, which is kind of crazy. Some cost millions of dollars, which is kind of crazy. But projects come in all shapes and sizes. And the last thing I want to also bring out is that it's cross-organizational typically. So people from different teams come together to work on a project and see it through completion. All right, let's test your knowledge. I'm going to need your help here, Hannah. To your knowledge, project or not a project. Okay. So if it's a project, you give me a green check. If it's not a project, you give me a red X. So as a best practice, you digitize the paper documents you receive that day, then shred them. Green check if it's a project, red X if it is not a project. So maybe I can exit full screen. I don't think I can do that for this way. All right, no problem. All right, Hannah, what are you seeing? Are you seeing more green checks or more red X's? You're on mute, Hannah.
Sorry. Hello.
No problem. So what are you seeing more of? More red X's or more green checks or more red X's? Up, I think Hannah froze. Can Rahul, I see you. Can you come off mute and tell me what you see?
Yeah, I see. As a best practice, you digitalize paper documents you received that day and shred them. I said it's not a project.
Okay, and Hannah, you're back with us. Hannah, what do you see? More red? Thanks, Rahul. More green checks or more red X's?
Oh, more red
Definitely
X's. That's
more
what you
red
mean.
X's.
More red X's. Okay, great. And then somebody who has a red X next to their name, Hannah, can you call on them to explain why
Anyone
this,
random?
anyone random that has a red X that maybe how about someone we haven't heard from yet today? Why this is not a project?
Okay, I'm gonna call on Eric.
All right, Eric Palmer. Why is
Not
this,
a project? Eric Palmer.
Yep. Why is this not a project, Eric?
I'll say this is not a project because you're digesting paper documents you received that day, then shredding them, which is not a project.
But why is it not
This
a
is something-
project? Like, it seems like a project to me. You're getting paper documents, you're shredding them, it requires some work. Why is this not a project? According to this.
I can really say that it's not temporary. Oh, it is temporary. Oh, I'm not sure. Sorry.
No, Eric, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You got the answer correct. It is considered not considered a project because it's not new or unique. You do it every single day, right? It requires
okay.
no cross organizational participation. Like it's just a regular routine task. It's this. It's what you do every day. It's not a project. So great job, Eric. Thank you, Hannah. Now I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I have to clear this off. And what I'm going to do instead to make life easier for everybody is I'm just going to copy and paste these into the chat box. All right. Let me see here. All right. Project or not a project. Next one. Your boss tasks you to transition your help desk ticketing software to a new platform. Is that a project or not a project? Green check if you say it's a project. Red X, not a project. Give you 10 more seconds. Okay, I see all green checks. Hannah, do you want to call on somebody to share why they think it is a project?
Okay, let's go with Mahmood. Did we call on Mahmood already?
It's okay. We can hear from Mahmood.
It's a project because it's temporary. At some point, you'd have completely transitioned, and the project will be done. Also, there's some cooperation depending on if you have several people that use the platform. So that's that.
Yep. Mahmood is 100% correct. It requires cross collaboration. It has a start date and end date. Transitioning a help desk ticketing software is not a long-term thing. It's a short-term thing. That is an example of a project, maybe one that you'll be on in your career at one point, transitioning a new ticketing software. All right, project or not a project. Every Thursday at 4 p.m., you and your boss sit down and talk about the past week and goals for the following week. Is that a project or not a project? Green check if it's a project, red X if it's not a project.
Do you mind repeating that? I couldn't hear it.
No problem. It's in the chat box as well, Karina. but it's every Thursday at 4 p.m. You and your boss sit down and talk about your past week and goals for next week. Project or not a project? I see lots of red X's. All right, Hannah, do you want to call on somebody to share why this is not a project?
Louise.
Thank you. It's not a project because you do it every day. It's not new and unique.
Yes, absolutely. It's a regular routine task. It's a weekly event. There's no start or end date. There's no cross collaboration. It's just you and your boss having a one-on-one. Correct. All right, last one. It seems like you all have a strong handle on this, but let's go ahead and put it out there. So you have been asked by one of your colleagues to join the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force in building out a new series of trainings delivered to your workplace to build a more inclusive culture. Is that a project or not a project? I see lots of green checks. All right, Hannah, do you want to call on someone with a green check to ask them why this is a project?
Sorry, I'm gonna call on Ricardo.
All right, Ricardo, Ricky. You're on mute, Ricky.
All right. So if you're building more inclusive culture, I believe that it takes planning to do all of that. So you definitely need some time to take things into consideration. If you're doing any activities or things like that, you need planning, you need a budget, and all sorts of things.
Awesome. Thank you, Ricardo. And just a reminder, you're planning the series of trainings. So you and your colleagues are going to build a training program for your company. And that training program will have a start date and an end date. We'll have cross collaboration. We'll do all of those things. So it's 10 o'clock. We got about 15 more minutes in class time left. Is there any questions on anything we discussed today? Anything of that nature? So for project management, so give me a green check if you feel like, okay, I feel like I at least know what project management is after today's class. I have an idea of what it is. Give me a green check. Okay. And looks like everyone's give me that. Excellent. All right. Hannah, thank you for being an incredible assistant instructor. One last request before we wrap up today's class. Can you just go ahead and read our deliverable? Just put in the chat box.
Great. So for today's deliverable, one second, guys. It's every Thursday. Oh, sorry, I'm still reading that.
It's okay.
Do a quick Google search, watch videos, read articles, and digest 10 reasons why everyone needs to learn project management in a list format. Type those 10 reasons out in complete sentences, no spelling errors, into a discussion board, which was due last night. Respond to at least 2 posts by tomorrow, 10/28 at 11:59.
All right, so that's the what I need you all to do between now and if you haven't done it already, please go ahead and submit that. You have 13 minutes now. Go ahead and do that, and we'll see you all tomorrow. What time's our class tomorrow? I know we have a new schedule. I think tomorrow we meet at 10:30, right? Let me make sure. Yeah,
We
tomorrow.
meet at 9 tomorrow. Oh no, 10:30.
Nope, we're 10:30. Yep, you're gonna have a different class at
Wednesday.
9. Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, there was no class, so I'll see you all tomorrow at 10:30. Have a great night, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
I have a question. Don't we still got Kachun tomorrow?
You'll have to look at your schedule. I'm not sure when you have Kachun. So does anyone else know?
I'll ask around. Thank you, Eric. Though.
Yep, you're welcome. See you.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Ashley.
I have an issue with Schoology when I was doing that discussion board.
Okay.
It didn't format the reasons how I had it, and a lot of it got cut off. I don't know if you noticed.
I haven't looked yet. Let me go ahead and take a look.
Like I had to edit it like 10 times, like literally.
Okay. Yeah, I see everything here. So you're good.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.